There we go. Actually, that's the first time in 2 months that I put on a shirt. I had a hard time actually to find my iron. So it's a really weird time. I would definitely prefer to be together with you somewhere in IBM Client Center in London. Unfortunately, that's not possible in these days, but we will have this session. Hopefully you will like the content. The speakers are joining us one after the other, so I think we will be ready fairly soon. Or you can write your questions in this chat. I think is that you can set up a one-on-one sessions on the Imprompt Me. So I will start sharing my screen and show it again how you can get there. So there we go. You should be able to see my screen soon. Great. So more and more people joining us. Amazing. So if you want to talk to someone else from this list, you can actually go to Imprompt Me. You would go to home. I will show you the whole process, how to get connected. And you just need to log out and actually here you can set up your profile. You need to use hashtag IQRF20. So how you do that actually is that you go to this Imprompt Me home. If I log out to show you the whole process. Computer is a little bit slow.
Simon, I can't see your screen. I'm not sure if anybody else can.
Oh, really? Okay.
Might just be me.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. So,
okay, I've got there now. It was just me. Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, if you want to set up a individual session, you go to impromptme.com/home, and you can log in, let's say, with your LinkedIn account, and then with hashtag IQRF20, you can find this event, and when you get in, you can create your own profile and actually request individual sessions with the others. It's actually created for, or it's set up for this afternoon, so you can set up the sessions this afternoon. Later on, if you don't manage that, you can ask us for individual contacts, and if the other side agrees, like, we will be happy to get you connected. So I think we are pretty much ready to start. So thanks everyone for joining us here on the call or watching us on YouTube. It's amazing that we can do this meetup at least online. I would definitely prefer to meet you in person, and maybe later on that day have a drink with you and individual chats. But unfortunately, this is not possible right now. So what we will do, we will give you some presentations, like myself, my colleagues from IQRF team, but also some members of the Alliance, and also our other partners. So we will try to show you like what's available in the IQRF ecosystem, and also like what is coming, let's say in the course of this year. So I will start with my presentation, if you don't mind, to let's say a little bit explain like what is the strategy of the IQRF Alliance in terms of lighting. Maybe Liam, can you just confirm that you can see my screen and that you can hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, brilliant. So lighting has been always, let's say, a very strong area for IQRF. We have more and more people coming in, which is brilliant. Happy about that. Okay, so let's go for it. I guess they will check up with us later. So the lighting strategy for the IQRF Alliance will be based on some new elements, on new technical features that are now available in the IQRF. So I would try to explain you the whole architecture. The purpose actually of this architecture is to make it very easy to develop new products for this ecosystem, but also to like cherry pick the elements that you need for your project from the IQRF ecosystem, and very easily use it, get the whole solution deployed and commissioned, right? So as the heart of the, let's say, of the IQRF solution is a gateway which can control IQRF network. So as you know, like we are using IQRF DPA protocol, which communicates in mesh network. And we have also interoperability standard. So we have it for sensors, we have it for binary data, and I think earlier this year or at the end of last year, we introduced also a standard for DALI. So basically in the standardized way, you can send standard DALI commands there and back. And then in the portfolio, we have now, we call it as a IQRF DALI bridge. We have there one from Lightplan for emergency lighting and from MicroRisk for other lights. And basically this device gets the DALI command, which is coming in IQRF, and put it on the DALI bus. So with that, you can control any driver which can handle DALI commands, and it all works in IQRF mesh network. Usually the gateway is connected to some kind of IoT platform. There's a JSON API that enables you to communicate directly to the IQRF gateway daemon, but on the gateway you can have also a little bit, let's say, higher layer on the top of the IQRF gateway daemon, so you can communicate with that as well. And typically you want to have the gateways under control and also be able to, let's say, get them updated, upgraded, fix some issues. So some remote management system is also very useful. So this is, let's say, what we have. What is coming, or how it communicates. Just to explain you a little bit more, is that the DALI commands can go directly from the IoT platform down to the end node. It goes that you put the standard DALI command into the JSON protocol, you send it to the gateway, and the gateway translates that or put the same DALI command into the IQRF bucket, and then the bucket goes through the IQRF mesh network till it's reached this IQRF DALI bridge, and then from there the DALI command goes on the DALI bus, and with that you can, for example, switch on the light. So it's very easy. If you are familiar with DALI, you will be able to use it right away, pretty much immediately. What I'm really excited about is that there are new products for lighting coming into the IQRF ecosystem, which will be this PIR sensor from Danlers. And these sensors, you will be able to use them as a, let's say, standard sensors, so collecting the data about, let's say, the illumination or about number of the movements in that area. But what's a new feature in the IQRF, which is now being finalized, is this local FRC. So with that, it enables actually local control of the devices from this controller. So in case that there is a guy coming in, actually the whole or the devices that are connected, so it could be one device, but it could be more of them as well, could be controlled with this PIR sensor locally. It could be PIR sensor, it could be let's say a switch as well. So with that, if someone is coming, the PIR sensor would create an IQRF command with the DALI command, which is integrated in there, and it will be sent to the local, let's say, DALI bridges that are around and that are assigned to this PIR sensor, and it will, let's say, switch on the lights. So you can see that this could be fairly complex deployment. So that's why we are also coming together with other partners in the Alliance with commissioning tools that will enable you to very easily do the commissioning. So one example of that is this commissioning tool, and with that, one thing that you can do is to enable what is called auto network. How the auto network operates will be explained by Hinek just fairly soon, in about 10 minutes. But basically, with you just push the button, and actually the gateway will get connected. That you can start controlling the end devices. You can collect the data. You can switch on whatever you want. There are just two things that are missing. Like, one thing is that you don't know where the devices are, and the second thing, which is new, is that you have to somehow assign that this PIR sensor would control these two devices, for example. So the localization is something which is available right now in this app. It's done literally with a very easy to use drag and drop system. So you would come to the place, you will again hit a button, you will get the list of the devices that are around you in direct range from this tablet, and with a drag and drop you can actually place these devices on a floor plan or a map wherever you are, indoor or outdoor. In the future, the idea is that here you would be able also, with a very easy drag and drop system, to set up let's say a local control. That means that you will say to this PIR sensor, you will control this device and that device, right? So actually walking through that building, or let's say that street, you will be able to assign both the location of the devices, but also the logic connections between them. And then once you are ready with that, you can actually take all these data and send them up to your IoT platform. What is, I believe, the key of this whole architecture, that it's completely modular and flexible. So there could be a different commissioning tool, there could be a different gateway, there could be different end devices, there could be another IoT platform. So basically, it's not like must that you use exactly those tools that I have now here on the screen. It's rather as an example. You can bring with you can come with your own devices, your own gateways, your own platforms. It's totally up to you. Everything is based on let's say open protocols and APIs that you can just start using. So just to summarize, the architecture is based on IQRF and mesh and so on, but those are, let's say, the things that you already know. But the key thing, or the key things, I believe, to mention here is that we will be using and recommending DALI protocol for, let's say, sending the commands for the DALI for the lighting applications. We will also enable local asynchronous control with this local FRC. So this is, let's say, a feature which is coming, let's say, in quarter 3, so hopefully this summer. And we will also encourage members of the Alliance to come up with ready connectors. With a connector, I mean, for example, this IQRF DALI bridge, and also ready products like this this PIR sensors. And also another thing, what is great, there are available commissioning tools. You can just buy and start using them, and your commissioning could be fairly easy. So this is what it means, IQRF interoperable in total. So it's not just a protocol or something like that, but it's really like a complex of tools and protocols that you can just start using for your application. It could be a lighting solution, but it could be standard sensor networks, actuators as well. So if you have any questions regarding this, by the way, you can use the chat in the meeting and actually write the questions there. I will try to answer them later on, or I will ask the other member or the other speakers. You can write your questions on the YouTube as well. So now what I would like to do is I would like to give you like a little bit like small introduction of the ecosystem. So actually there's not just one gateway, but there are more of them. So show you like what is behind this architecture, like what's the portfolio of products that you would be able to use. So one thing is that there's a ready DALI bridge from LightPlan, which is designed especially for emergency lighting. It can supply the power for 1 or 2 DALI devices. And MicroOS is also coming with, let's say, smarter, like little bit like bigger DALI bridge, which will support not only DALI but 0 to 10 volts as well. They plan to have their like a MCU with real-time clock, so you can set up a calendar and so on and so on. So it will be used mainly for street lighting. So what these two have together is that the DALI bridge covers both the DALI controller and DALI supply. There we are, let's say, limited with number of drivers that you can work. So this is especially usable for applications where the end devices are some, let's say, reasonably distant from one between the other. But what can happen is that you can have hubs as well of lights, let's say, for indoor applications, and then you want to be more flexible in terms of number of let's say number of control gears or these PLR sensors on one DALI bus. So in this case, you would use like external power supply and then IQRF DALI bridge as a controller. So with that, on just one IQRF bridge, you can have up to 64 DALI devices, and you would use standard DALI commands, as you know that. So this can enable you really to do the projects fairly easy. You can buy any control gear using the DALI protocol, and with this DALI bridge and power supply, and you are good to go. So fairly easy. What I would like to introduce here also is the portfolio of products of LightPlan. Now I would like to ask if we have Jonathan Bell here from LightPlan. I haven't noticed actually that he logged in. Jonathan, are you there? No? Okay. So anyway, so I will do the short introduction myself. So basically, LightPlan, I guess you know the name. It's a quite big supplier of emergency lighting kits and lights and actually solutions. So what we've done together, we actually designed this DALI bridge together for them. So with this, they can actually control their portfolio of drivers and lights. So you can see that they have some of these conversion kits, but also like a ready lights, different versions. What is now being finalized, so all of these devices could be connected to this one DALI bridge, and what is now being finalized is the application that would enable a really very easy commissioning, and on the top of that there will be IoT platform. So this is coming later on, but actually this part, the devices themselves are available together with this wireless node, and in general you can control it with any IQRF gateway and from any IoT platform. So again, it's very flexible in these terms. And by the way, you can use it together with other products of other members of the IQRF Alliance. It's part of the interoperability ecosystem. Another list of products that I'm really excited about is the portfolio of Danlers. Danlers is currently integrating IQRF into their portfolio. Kevin and Martin will talk about this in a couple of minutes. So this is just a brief introduction. They will tell you more about that. And then there are other products that could be used together with these lighting solutions, or you can use them as the only sensors actually. So you know about Protronics that's been there for many years. They are now coming with the new particle sensors. But then we have this power socket, radiator head, industrial sensors. So those are things that are available for some time, available on the shop as well. MicroOS is coming now with this relay module, and what I'm really looking forward to is this interconnection boxes that are coming from BankConnect later on this year, because literally you can design the whole box as you want. Those, let's say, power and connection modules are completely flexible, so you can design it as you want. So I believe this will be really great product for office buildings and similar kind of let's say use cases. There's also a wireless switch coming from Nicatron later on this year, and 2 products from AI Connect. Chris will introduce this more in detail, but we expect they would come with air quality monitor with display, and also this desk occupancy sensor, all connected with the IQRF. And we have here also as one of the speakers Pete from Etiot, who will give us a little bit more introduction about his intelligent extractor fan. This will be part of the IQRF portfolio as well. And Sanela, a big manufacturer in Czech Republic of this wash basin taps and urinal flushing units and many other things, will be coming with IQRF connected taps and this flushing units. So this could be again used in like smart building applications, monitoring Legionella and those kind of things. So fairly useful devices. So in terms of gateways, if we are going from bottom up in the solution and in the ecosystem, there's a list of gateways that you can use right away. So our hub used quite a lot in pilot projects. We have also these PLCs that could be used as IQRF gateways as well. IQRF is integrated there. IAConnect is coming now with their Up Square gateway and a connector for IQRF. Again, like I guess Chris will tell you more about that. And MicroRisk is coming with this low-cost gateway. Literally in a matter of weeks, it will be available. So in order to build your gateway, you can use these connectors. So one of them is from AI Connect, but you can use also like this USB dongle. You can create your own gateway, as I mentioned, with IQRF Gateway Daemon. So that's actually the translator of your, let's say, JSON commands to IQRF. And then on the top of that, typically on the gateway, you want to have some logic, some autonomous operation. So you can use this Mobius Flow from AI Connect, or Logimic provides their OpenEdge gateway software. So this will enable like automated collecting data or doing some if this then that, storing the data on the gateway and much more. So these companies can introduce it later on. There are also like list of IoT platforms that are available in the Alliance, but in general, the gateway could be connected to any IoT platform. Right. So this is just to give you an idea that something is available. If you want to talk or know more about that, stay with us during these presentations, and later on we can get you connected to these people if you want. I mentioned this commissioning tool on the tablet from RDS. It will be available also like with Lightplan branding for their customers. For about 2 or 3 years, we have available this IQRF Network Manager. So it's a Android app that you can download free of charge, and you can start controlling your IQRF network right away. That's really useful for like this small applications. It enables like QR, Smart Connect with QR code or NFC and other things. Last but not least, MicroRisk is now coming with NFC service tool. So this will enable you to actually communicating with the IQRF devices that have NFC chip there as well, to upload, for example, access password and other things. So again, enabling the commissioning. So just to summarize, like these products are and solutions and gateways and other things are available on the marketplace, so you can read more there. And the marketplace is also linked to the IQRF shop, where you can buy samples. By the way, your products, your gateways could be there as well. Just to give you the overview, so basically what we just talked about is that we have the IQRF modules that support the IQRF interoperability standard. You can use lighting connectors to start controlling DALI drivers right away, but there are also like ready products for lighting, and there are also other products like sensors and actuators available. On the gateway level, if you use Linux and IQRF Gateway Daemon, that's basically what you need for your gateway. You can have their edge software as well with some hardware connectors, and there are ready gateways available as well, and commissioning tools that could be connected to these gateways, connected to the end devices, and connected also to the IoT platforms on the top, where we have the IQRF repository, where you store all the information about the end devices. You can have a remote management system as well to monitor and control your gateways. And then we have a list of, let's say, IoT platforms, lighting platforms and solutions, but also services like hardware design and manufacturing, software programming, and so on and so on. So it's really like a wide list of skills and products and solutions that we have available in the Alliance. And as a team, we will be happy to assist you with your projects. And also you are very welcome to join us and actually add your gateway solution, whatever, into this list as well. So that's all for me right now. Thank you very much. And I will hand it over now to Hinek, who will give you, let's say, more details on the technical aspects and new technical features of the IQRF, which let's say the news and what is coming in the soon future. So Hinek, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning from Prague to everyone. I'm gonna start sharing my screen. Hopefully it will start right now.
Yeah. Yeah, we can see that. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Yeah, you can go ahead.
So, good morning. I'm gonna give you a brief overview today of current and upcoming IQRF communication options. In reality, actually, I will start not with a single communication, but with, let's say, pretty complex process that incorporates many real communications, and those communications I will cover on later on. So we will start with auto networking, then comes the DPA point-to-point protocol, then the cornerstone communication IQ mesh, then a very unique and very powerful communication fast response command that is unique to IQRF. Then there is a newcomer that will come soon, and Simon already mentioned it. It's a local fast response command. And last but not least is a service maintenance protocol that is already here for a few years. And to deviate a little bit from the agenda at the very end, I will just mention some upcoming IQRF news and releases. So let's start with auto network. Auto network is a process. The aim of it, the goal is to build on a push of a button, to build a network from already on-premises mounted devices. Yeah. So you just locate them, you mount them, press a button, and the network will build. At the very beginning, the gateway or a coordinator must be set up. So the correct access password must be set up, the channel planning must be done, and the correct type of the network. And then our network consists of waves. In each wave, the goal of each wave is to bond, to join as many as possible new devices into the network. So we start with so-called pre-bonding. At this phase, the devices will get a temporary address, FE. Then comes reading of their unique MIDs. Yeah, every device, every transceiver has a unique MID, so we will read it using FRC, by the way. Then comes the authorization. So authorization means that the devices will get the final final logical address that will be used later on for addressing them. And at the very end, each wave ends with the verification of the communication with the nodes and discovery. Discovery makes devices so-called discoverable, meaning that they can route. And after the first wave comes the second wave, the same phases. And when the network is finished, so there is a wave at the very end, for instance, we have the network built. So in our example, we have in total 5 nodes, 5 devices. 4 of them are discovered, so they will route, and 1 of them intentionally is not discovered because it's a battery-powered devices, and we don't want to route this device. And after the network, auto network, we run so-called enumeration. The enumeration reads all the available data from the devices, so we know what type of devices it is, who is manufacturer, the name, the picture, we know the versions of operating system there, DPA, and so on, and so on, and so on. And we just finished building the network, yeah, and we know what we have there. Then comes, typically, and Simon already mentioned that, DPI point-to-point protocol. Because the purpose of the protocol is the local service of devices already in the network. Very typically, we use it for localization, devices in the premises, on the premises, for commissioning or for setup in general, or setup of control of devices one to each other. So a little bit technically how it works. At the beginning, non-network device will send a DPA command with of addressed devices. Then every addressed device does the handshaking, security handshaking, consists of 3 individual packets, and at the very end of the handshaking, the response or the request is received by a DP2P controller. And every device does it. So, for instance, this slide will indicate, you see it's on, indicate its presence, so we can localize it, and using a drag and drop in the app on the tablet, we will localize it. And that's the purpose of DP2P. Yeah, I will not go into very technical details. You can study it in our documentation. DP2P is fully open, documented, and including the source code. What's the security of that communication? All of our security is based on AES 128, and in this case also the DP2P must be explicitly enabled in the devices. Also the access password must match in order to be able to control the device, and the proper channel must be selected. So this is DP2P. Now comes the, as I said, the fundamental communication cornerstone of IQRF. It's IQ Mesh. Yeah? I hope many of you know how it works. It's the animation is available on the web, and you saw it on other meetups or in the training. So let me just go briefly. In general, the purpose of IQ Mesh basic communication is to send the commands to the devices and collect data. Yeah? Every device has a time slot dedicated, and in its time slot, it simply repeats the message that it received from the previous device. And that brings the following positive features of the IQ Mesh. Yeah? Let me just note that the first one is based on directed flooding. Yeah, the based on directed flooding, and security again is based on AES 128, and the network key, which is unique to every network, is used to protect the data sent in the IQ Mesh. So this is the basic communication tool, and the next one, the FRC, is also using it. FRC stands for Fast Response Command, and the main purpose is to collect data and to execute optionally commands at once by one command on many devices and get the responses. At the first phase, the broadcast is done. The broadcast is executed using the IQ mesh flooding mechanism I showed in the previous slide. And then comes individual sending of FRC values to be collected locally. So every device in very short time interval sends its data, and all the devices around that hear that communication will record the data. And at the very end, there is a collection phase. It simply merges all the collected data from all the nodes, so there is a big redundancy and high security also. And the data is delivered to the coordinator, to the gateway. So what are the features of the fast response command? We can first send up to 30 bytes to any of the devices in the network. But we can also collect, by this one command, data from all the, or limited number, selected number of devices. So we can collect 2 bits, 1 byte, 2 bytes, or 4 bytes of data from the devices. One of the very useful features is acknowledge broadcast, which means that apart from normal broadcast from other networks, that broadcast is also confirmed. Yeah. So we can execute command on devices and get the acknowledgement that the command was executed. Security, again, based on the network key and AES 128. Now we have the newcomer, the new kid on the block. It's called local FRC. The local FRC purpose is to asynchronously control devices, intra-devices between each other. Yeah. So there are 2 main players on the local FRC. The one we call controller, that could be a motion sensor or switch or buttons on the wall. And we have devices that are controlled by these controllers, and we call them actuators. There could be lights, blinds, whatever, ventilators, fans, and so on. How it works. At the beginning, the controller sends local, one-hop only FRC requests with the set of devices that are to be controlled. And then every device optionally executes the embedded DPI requests. In our example, those lights are now on. And at the very end, in the last phase, they send back the collected FRC numbers, FRC values. So we can control not only control, but we can also get back the values from the devices. Example, let's control by one switch up to 31 DALI devices and also receive in one shot the DALI values back to the controller. Security, again based on AES, and it must be explicitly enabled in the actuators. And the actuators, the lights, the blinds, and so on, can implement the whitelist to allow only certain controllers to be controllers and certain commands to be executed, for instance. Last but not least is the DPA service mode. DPA service mode is a maintenance communication option that is usually used as a last resort, typically, for low-level maintenance and servicing. Yeah? So it's a one-to-one protocol. In the first phase, the device is to be scanned from the DSM controller. Today, we implemented in the IQRF IDE. The DSM service mode is initiated only after the device is reset, and then the connectivity is set up, and the DSM controller can send any DPA command to set up to maintain the device. So it could be configuration change, it could be over-the-air firmware update, software update, anything in general. Yeah. Today it's implemented in IQRF IDE. The protocol is proprietary, not open, and the channel it works on is dedicated. So it works even if the configuration is really messed up and the device could be healed this way. Security, again, AES, as I said before, DSM could be activated only after the device is reset, and there must be a match of the access password both on the DSM controller and the device to be maintained. Here is the summary table with many properties of each communication option. I will not go into the detail of each of them. I will leave it for your self-study later on, or if you have any question concerning each individual communication option, let us know, let me know. We are happy to answer your questions. And this is what I said, brief IQRF news. So this May, in next days, we will release DPA 4.14, a new IQRF IDE, and they will both support faster, even faster auto network. Why? Because we will have a mass authorization, so we can assign up to 11 final network addresses up to 11 nodes at once. It really speeds up the auto network process. And we also have a built-in pre-bonding of overlapping networks. In case you have a few networks on the premises with the new DPA and IDE, you don't have to build wave by wave, but you can build the whole network at once and then go to the next network. So it really makes it easier and faster to build the network. Next will come a release, as Simon already noticed, a release of new IQRF OS and DPA. And this release will have a strong new communication tool, communication option. It's called local FRC. Please just notice, remember, it's an asynchronous inter-nodes communication, yeah, used for controlling from controllers to actuators. New features of the upcoming daemon, which will be released also in Q3. The daemon, the gateway will support faster auto network that comes with DPA 4.14. We will have an optimized IQRF repository download and caching. So even with machine-to-machine limited tariffs, the amount of data downloaded is much smaller than today. The WebSocket channel will support TLS security. And last but not least, the MQTT channel will be buffered. So in case the communication is broken, is lost, the data will be exchanged as soon as the communication is set up again. And if I remember well, this is my last slide. Thank you very much. In any case you have any questions, let me contact and I will be happy to answer them later on. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Hinek. So if there are any questions, please write them into the chat on YouTube or here on the Meet, and we will try to answer them later on. So now I would like to ask Chris Moorhouse from iConnect, if you can hear me.
Yeah, got you, Simon.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. So if you can just start sharing your screen and go ahead with your presentation, would it be brilliant?
Give it a go.
Yeah. So iConnect is a member of the Alliance for about last half a year. I'm working on some products, gateways. They are involved in a number of projects with IQRF. So I'm really excited to have Chris here to give you the introduction of where they are and what they are planning to do.
Oh, it's decided not to share my screen with me, Simon.
Okay, Hinek, have you stopped sharing your screen? Maybe Jan, can you try to fix it, because I have really strange situation here.
Let me just log back in, Simon, if you want to quickly chat to people for a second.
Yeah, that won't be easy for me.
It still says Hynek is presenting.
Yeah, so Hinek, can you stop the presentation?
Hi, I already did. My connection actually was totally frozen, so I had to kill the Explorer, and I just rejoined the meeting.
Okay. Yeah.
Excellent. Hopefully you got me back now.
Yeah.
Or I can start and then cancel sharing the screen again if you want, for instance.
Let me try now. See if this works.
Sorry for that, but
No worries. No, it's not your fault.
for some reason it was totally frozen.
Yeah, it's coming. It's good.
Have you got it?
Yeah,
Excellent.
you can
Sorry
go
about
ahead.
that.
Cheers.
Okay, excellent. Well done. Everybody, hi, I'm Chris Morehouse from IA Connects. So IA Connects are a IQRF Alliance partner. We've been working with Simon for a while now, and have integrated, as Simon said, into kind of all the layers throughout the IQRF ecosystem. We've got over 20 years of intelligent control, from building automation, so lighting control, all the way through to industrial control, and HVAC and so on. We, for instance, one of the biggest projects we've done in the last few years, we did all of Heathrow Terminal 2A, which was 55,000 DALI fittings. So we have a lot of experience in this area. Our target markets really on the IoT side are pretty much everything from smart offices, assisted living, all the way through to smart factories, condition monitoring, and so on. So we really kind of cover the whole gambit. One of the things that we noticed over the years was that there's a lot of IoT solutions out there, but everybody tends to work in a vertical space where they supply their own sensors, they supply their own gateways, and they supply their own cloud platform, which you are forced to use. And if you want to get a mix of things in a space, so if you're doing something like a smart office and you want to do both lighting control, HVAC control, air quality monitoring, people counting, and so on, you end up having a whole bunch of different gateways from a bunch of different manufacturers, and it becomes a nightmare when you want to then start trying to integrate that into a single platform for data analysis, visualization, and so on. So what we did was we developed our software called Mobius Flow, which will run pretty much anywhere, as you'll see later on in the presentation. And the idea behind that was that we would be sensor agnostic. So we don't care what sensors people want to use. We have developed ways of connecting all sorts of different protocols using our connectors. And also we are cloud agnostic. So we don't care where you want to send your data to. If you want to send it directly into something like Azure or Google or AWS, we can do that. But also if you have a custom platform, it's very easy for us to develop drivers using a standard secure protocol, and we can push data directly into your platform, be that in the cloud or into a server on site. So as I said, it's really, our offering is really based around our Mobius Flow software. And Mobius Flow is completely scalable, so you can have start with a really small system running on a low-cost, low-power gateway, right up to having running in the cloud, or having multiple gateways on site or in the cloud, and getting them all connected together and communicating sort of seamlessly with each other. So I think you've seen a few pictures of our standard gateway already today. It's an Intel-based device, so we are Intel market ready approved. We have the ability to connect via Wi-Fi, via Ethernet, and via 4G. And we typically work with our partner Arquessa, but we support pretty much any of the standard SIM cards and mobile networks. And that'll operate anywhere in the world. And the gateway will then be able to communicate using our connectors to all of the sensors on the lower level, bring that data into the gateway. Once it's in the gateway, we then normalize that data into a standard format. So we don't care if it's come from an IQRF device, if it's come from an on-ocean device, or if it's come from an industrial PLC or something else. We normalize that data into a standard format. You can then perform logic at the edge in the gateway. So you can do things like data filtering, you can do things like data aggregation, or you can actually run control. So in the IQRF scenario, we can actually do a lot of the complex lighting control directly in the gateway without relying on any connection to the cloud, without relying on any connection to the internet, for instance. So we can simply receive data coming in from, for instance, an on-ocean wireless sensor and push that out over IQRF to a bunch of DALI devices. Or we could receive that trigger from a PIR on the IQRF network and then push that out to DALI devices on a different IQRF network. So the gateway really has the ability, pretty much everything you need to do sitting right at the edge. And then once we've got that, we can then obviously share that data up to the cloud or up to some kind of visualization package. So the connectors we spoke about, or that I'm talking about, is what we decided to do was, rather than put radios in the gateway, which is pretty much what everybody else is doing, we decided to split those radios out into separate low cost. That gives us a number of advantages. One, it means we can have multiple connectors. So if you're doing something like under desk sensing with IQRF, the limit of 240 devices on a network becomes a problem, because you often have far more than 240 devices on or desks on a single floor, let alone in an entire building. So you need to be able to have multiple IQRF networks to communicate with all those devices. It also means that we can mix in other protocols. So as I mentioned before, we can bring in things like on-ocean or workplace occupancy under desk sensing, or any of the other wired or wireless protocols into connectors and get that into the gateway, and we can then use that to communicate down the other network. So we can do complete mix and match, and it really doesn't matter. You just choose the best sensors on the best technology for the application you're trying to achieve, and you can mix them all together. So one of the things that we have recently moved over to now is also being able to run our gateways as virtual gateways in the cloud, which means the connectors can sit on site, and they can then communicate out to the cloud directly, either via Wi-Fi, via PoE, or we're just bringing out NB-IoT connectors, so you can have them sitting on site without having to have any connection into the customer's IT infrastructure. That data can then all get pushed out to the cloud. The decisions can be made in the cloud and pushed back down to the connectors, or if it's just a monitoring application, the data can then be normalized and pushed over to some other cloud platform. And so that means that in future, it becomes a really simple solution if you're doing something like people counting or monitoring, to be able to deploy IQRF connectors around your building, set up all the networks, but actually have all the intelligence in the cloud. And it means you can also then bring the data together from multiple buildings to a single point, and run aggregation of that data or filtering of that data in our gateway in the cloud. So what we tried to do as well was to make our Mobius Flow software really as simple as possible for people to use. So it's a drag and drop environment. You just drag in the devices and services you need, some simple configuration. Most of the documentation is actually in the software, so that you don't need to go and look it up elsewhere to get it all working, and build up your configuration. Once you've got your configuration set up, we've then embedded Node-RED, which some of you may know, which is an open source IBM product, and it allows either us or the end user to really create complex logic flows in, once again, a simple drag and drop environment. You just drag the blocks in, wire them together in a kind of logical fashion. Once again, all the documentation's there, and it's really easy to use. and you can build up really complex control logic for HVAC systems, lighting control, you know, as I said, things like people counting or even machine control. So we work with a bunch of integration partners. So we work with companies like Arrow, Ingram Micro, Tech Data, Lightplan, and also obviously work with a bunch of device manufacturers and their alliances, so IQRF, workplace occupancy, and so on. Smart buildings is really kind of our thing. So looking at smart buildings, a smart buildings overview, we can do everything now from smart parking on LoRaWAN, all the way through to, as I said, room occupancy, air quality monitoring, lighting control, and what have you. I'll just skip through those. So one of the things that we've managed to achieve over the last couple of weeks is to actually take existing sensors and existing devices and get them into now our social distancing application. So we've taken our existing people counters and we can now install those outside places in offices like washrooms, common areas, kitchens, and so on. We can have a simple display on the outside of the room, and we can count the number of people in a space at any one time and display whether those spaces should be, you know, are available for anyone else to enter. So you might say that there's only 3 people allowed in the washroom at any one time. And because of the ease of using the drag and drop Mobius Flow environment, that's been a really simple application for our customers to put together, and literally takes a couple of minutes to configure. The same thing with desk management. So we have a range of under-desk sensors, and we are in the process of getting IQRF into those, because the issue we have at the moment is the wireless communications is fairly short range, but obviously with a meshing network that enables us to cover more space with less infrastructure. But that allows us then to also monitor exactly in real time which desks are occupied. And once again, we can use the same displays that we've developed to actually highlight which desks people are allowed to sit at or not. And that's all kind of real simple to do, and for people to be able to configure on site. So with about an hour's training, we can actually train the facilities management teams on site to use our software. And they can configure and reconfigure as the situation changes with COVID. So obviously room and desk occupancy, a whole range of different devices for that. We have air quality. So we have a full air quality monitor, which will do temperature, humidity, CO2, obviously, volatile organics, and particulate at 2.5 and 0.5. Currently that is on Wi-Fi, but hopefully by Q4 we will have that running on IQRF. That will need to be a powered device, so we can't make that battery powered, but it will work really nicely with the under-desk sensors, in that the under-desk sensors can be battery powered, and we can use the air quality devices as the devices to provide the hops back to the gateway. We can do water leak detection, so we do that with some of the major airports, and actually with the gateway, not only have we got sensors to do the water leak detection, but because we've got the intelligence on board, we can actually then control the shut-off valves directly without having to rely on any kind of internet connection, and then send that data back to the facilities guys to tell them that there's been an issue, and tell them that we have isolated the water supply for that area, so that they can then go down and perform whatever maintenance they need to. Things like meter reading and energy meters, and I'd like to see at some point in the future us getting IQRF into some of our meter reading devices as well. So that is on the horizon, but probably only for next year. We work with a load of different wireless manufacturers, as I said, and we cover pretty much all of the major players in terms of the wireless protocol space, and we have the ability, as I said, to mix and match. So, you know, as an end user or an integrator, you can choose which ones work best for your application, and you don't have to just choose a single solution for your building. So some of the use cases, I'm not going to go through these in any detail, but we've been involved in assisted living, so actually monitoring people, typically end-of-life care patients, so that they can be monitored at home and don't have to spend their time in hospital, which obviously frees up hospital space, but also improves their end-of-life situation. We've worked with institutes like the Digital Catapult for their smart office solutions. As I said, water leak in UK airports, and we have one of the largest petrochemical companies which we work with very closely for doing smart office utilization, so under desk sensing, people counting in rooms and so on. And there we work with various partners, one of them iOffice, they provide the platform, and we have a driver which will push data from our sensors directly into their platform for the analysis and display of that data. We have online, obviously, our website. You can see a load of the different sensors and so on that we've got there. And we have a full knowledge base online as well. So if you need to know any more detail about how our system works and so on, you can get all of that online, and it's available for you to use and to read before and obviously after you've started implementing our systems. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Yep, brilliant, Chris. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
Yeah, that was great. Really looking forward to your products and projects with IQRF. So the next one would be Michal Valny. Michal, can you hear me? Yep.
Sorry, I can hear you.
Brilliant. Hi, we can even see you. That's great.
Hello again. Hello everybody. I will try to share my screen.
So again, if there are any questions, please write them into the chat window, or on the YouTube there's a chat window as well. So I can see that some questions have been already answered by Jan on the YouTube. That's great. Thanks for that. So Michal, over to you.
Shimon, can you see please my presentation?
Not yet. No.
Oh.
There we go. It's coming.
Works?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, it's perfect. You're good to go. Cheers.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Valny. I'm from Ology company. I would like to introduce our new platform, which is Ology Lite. This is the platform for control of open air lighting. Generally, about Logic. Logic is a company providing software services for industry. We are very tightly collaborating with IQRF Tech on development of gateway software, on development of IQRF Gateway Daemon software. We are very tightly collaborating with RDS on development of Sense Connect, a localization tool, and we are building our own platform for industrial heating and for open air lighting. Open air lighting is a platform for cities, villages, and industrial complexes. The goal of this platform is to provide a simple and low-cost IoT solution affordable for small cities and industrial complexes. So regarding the hardware, we use the IQRF Dali bridge mounted into the lamp. We are not hardware providers, so we are collaborating with manufacturers of lamps and lighting lamps in this area. So this is the end device. We use the gateways. Our software is independent of gateway hardware, so we can run on any gateway hardware. Here are three of them. We use the IQRF gateway coming into production in this year. We use Aurora Hub in the middle, and for more demanding application, we use the App Square board. So we designed hardware based on the requirements of each specific application. So the gateway is delivered within outdoor equipment, which is IP box, 4G LTE modem, and power adapter. So this is about the hardware. About the software. So our software is located on the gateway and in the cloud. So this is distributed system. So on the gateway we have the edge control, execution of Lightning programs and more. In cloud we are gathering data, driving collaboration, driving communication. Sorry. And here you can see a dashboard of our cloud console. So here the end customer can get quick information about their streets, about his streets, devices, if devices are on, off, if are online, offline, or any fail statuses. They can get any news from a supplier or manufacturer, and they can see a list of issues, if any. If they click on each street or device, then can go deeper, then can get information about location or GPS position of each device. They can see detailed information about devices. Optionally, they can have a webcam installed in vicinity of the system. So the location, usually the location is driven by program. The program means the lighting profile during night, for example. But they can also manually control the devices. You click the device and you can turn on, off, enter any data, service data, maintenance data, or you can manage the network. Of course, statistics data are displayed as per customer requirements. So this is very variable. And the most important and new thing in our platform is building and management of IQRF network. So directly from cloud console, you can build your network. So you can run auto network, connect all devices to the gateway, and make it get it running. So you can make auto network bound or unbound specific nodes. You can enable DP2P, peer-to-peer communication. You can set access passwords to the gateways. You can back up network and more functionality. The vision is, or our vision is, that the supplier sends the hardware to customer, and via this tool, customer or supplier can build immediately the fully working IQRF network. So in these days we are starting first applications. Yarkov City is our first application. They have 220 lamps collocated in 19 streets, running on 3 gateways. We made a deployment in real traffic here. So the manufacturer installed lamps on their poles, and then we came to the city, installed the gateways, and we ran auto network. And within a couple of minutes, we got them on, so they were able to manage their lamps and assign programs to their lamps. Because the customer wanted to locate the lamps to the streets, we had to continue with the localization. This was the next step. We were trying a couple of methods, but finally we successfully verified that the DP2P localization is the best method for large deployments of these lamps. So we used the ION tablet with Sense Connect software from RDS company, which is, by the way, developed by us for RDS, and this Sense Connect software has been developed for indoor applications. So we successfully tested that this is very useful also for outdoor applications. So we were able to localize the streets very quickly within a couple of hours. So next application of this platform is Becher company. This is industrial complex. They have 25 open air lamps in 4 areas running on one gateway. The deployment of our system we made completely remotely. So they mounted the lamps and then they gave us a phone call, and we remotely get them on. We built the network via auto network functionality, and then via flash and go method we did a localization. So we just flash the lights light by light and get the feedback from customer, and within a couple of minutes we were done with localization. So here is a very short list of benefits. We are pretty much focusing on win-win strategy when the end customer is getting benefits and also the supplier and manufacturer. Regarding the end customer, they have just quick overview about the working of their system, remote control. They can change programs, manage network, manage devices. They have light profiles, night profiles, which is extremely important for their cost. They are getting notification about fails, statistics, and of course hotline with manufacturer supplier. Benefits for supplier: they can get customer data, they see customer data, they see the performance of their devices at customers, and they are also getting alerts, and they are getting maintenance notifications completely automatically, and they can do data analytics with customer data, and they can provide new functionality to their end customer, like predictions and analysis and more features, and of course info channel to customer, so they can immediately send information to customer. So that's very briefly about our new platform. So thank you for your attention. If you had any question, just let me know, ping me email, or please visit our ologymiclight.com website.
Brilliant. Thanks, Michal. Actually, there's one question. I think actually it was answered on the last slide though, but the question is if it's possible to track the status and functionality of the lamps, meaning like if there's a defect or what's the illumination level of the lamp and so on and so on. So if you can get any alerts or status of the information or of the lamp.
Yeah, sure, definitely. So currently we are getting alerts regarding the online, offline, and the level of dim level of light, and more information from DALI protocol, so we can pass them all to the customer, to their dashboards. So yes, this is definitely working.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot. If there are any questions, just please write them into the chat, or you can also set up a one-on-one call in the ImpromptMe app. So please do that if you can, or if you want to talk to anyone. The next one on the agenda is a company called Danlers. So Martin and Kevin, are we ready to give your presentation?
Yes. Good morning. Thanks, Simon. It's Kevin here and Martin. Thanks very much for the opportunity. Martin's got the slideshow. I'll be doing a brief introduction about the company, and then I'm going to Teflon it to Martin to talk about the products.
Hopefully you can see my slideshow.
Okay.
Yes, it's coming. Yeah, you can just make it full screen if you want.
Yeah. Is it full screen now?
Not yet. No. Perhaps if you have two monitors, then
No, I've unplugged my other monitor now.
yes.
Is it working on your screen, Martin?
Oh,
Do
No,
slideshow.
it's just
Do
blank.
slideshow, yeah. Yours is blank. Okay.
There we go. Brilliant.
Very good.
Yep, you're ready.
Right. Okay. Company name is Danlers. We've been in existence for 30 years. A brief history. It's a family-owned company. It's the original owner has actually been in the lighting industry since 1971, and he has subsequently had a company called Home Automation. He sold that in the 90s and then set up Danlers 20 odd years ago. I've been working for Danlers for 21 years, and previous to that I actually worked for the Home Automation company, so I have a reasonable history of the lighting companies and infrastructure requirements. We mainly sell our products currently through the UK, and we use the wholesalers as our main route to market. Martin? As I said, designed and manufactured in the UK, and all of our products have a 5-year warranty. Are you ready, Mine? Thanks. About 3 years ago, we actually saw that the lighting industry plateaued. The LEDs had come out, and that seemed to be the last hurrah we could see. And we felt there was a time for a change of focus for Danlers, and that was to look more on the ecosystems and the smart building side of the business, and to have an agnostic approach to supporting these ecosystems. I'm quite a believer in the fact that ecosystems should be the next future and the development of the lighting industry, and indeed sort of migrating to it becomes part homogenous to the building, and everything should be interoperable and supportive. You know, our objective is to help the market move forward. How do we do that? Well, we're hoping by establishing an agnostic approach to ecosystems, we can use the Danlers name, the lighting manufacturers, the specifiers, the architects, to open the doors, go in front of them, educate them of the benefits, the flexibility of the system, and IQRF is one of the ones that we feel we would like to work with and have good opportunities with. Martin?
Yeah, our product range. We design and manufacture passive infrared sensors, time lag switches. Like I say, we've got our approach is we just design sensors. We don't develop software or anything like that. All of our PIR sensors come in with a built-in light cell for measuring the lux levels and sending feedback. Also, there's a identification LED, which can be used to identify which sensor you're communicating to. They are powered via 100 to 240 volt AC, 50, 60 hertz, but also low voltage power options are possible if required. So our most common sensor, what we sell, is the standard office flush fitting variety, range of about 7 meters detection. Then we have a range of surface mounted products for going onto slabs or anything like that, which can be conjugated to. We have a round version, it's very much like a smoke detector, and also a square version, depending on the contractor's preference. We also have directional options. We have a corridor sensor up to about 10 meters detection, and a long range version up to about 25 meters detection. We've used this a lot in data centers for actually detection between the computers. We also have a range of high bay mounted options. We have a wide detect version, which can be mounted up to 14 meters, gives 28 meters detection. An aisle version mounted up to 12 meters and is ideal for aisles, warehouses and racking. And also a spot detector, which can be put at the end of the aisles just for detecting people coming in and turning the lights on. We also have OEM options which can be built into luminaires or fixtures fittings. We have a version of that that can be used up to about 17 meters high. Also, we have a batter mount range which are currently under development. We have one that can be fitted both to the ends of a 20mm conduit knockout on a standard batten luminaire. Also, with the high bay range, we can actually IP rate them to IP66 to give outdoor protection in harsh environments. So that is our current product range, IQRF based. Thank you.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Kevin. Do you want to add anything?
Not a lot really. We're kind of short and sharp, but something I would like to add is that we're very keen to work with partners. I think for us, we're finding that ecosystems has to work with true partnerships. And as a company that does design and manufacture, we are quite keen and able. Sometimes it's our weakness and our strength. The engineering in us wants to take on the problem and make the solution. We are looking at other sort of sensor technologies for the future. This is just kind of the opening door, and the reason why we've used these shapes, it's been an established sensor style within the UK predominantly for the last 20 odd years. We are developing new shapes. We understand that we need to develop the product to look more, shall we say, Apple-like. But that's you're not going to get the nice looking box. I'm not going down that to me is a waste of money. And again, we realise that the product in itself has to have a benefit to the customer. And when the lighting manufacturers are selling, or the architects are selling, they sell the lights, and with the OEMs they sell the lights themselves. But they don't really want to double the price to integrate a sensor. So we're trying to look at keeping it very cost effective as well.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. Thanks a lot. So when do you expect the IQRF version of these PIR sensors would be available? Let's say the first prototypes, or yeah.
That'd be over to Martin. I know the development's going on. We got a bit scuppered because of the COVID situation, but our team are working remotely. Martin, a product manager, has probably been more in contact with the design team. You can answer that question.
Yeah, I mean, we've done a couple of designs. Luckily, it's a modular design concept we use. So if one PCB can suit a lot of the applications you see in front of you there. It's a common detector board.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Thanks a lot. So I think that's it for Danlers. Thanks a lot. We're definitely looking forward to having your products in the portfolio of the Alliance. So we will definitely keep the others up to date. So now, like on the agenda, we have RDS. So Liam, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Cool, brilliant. So over to you. It's coming.
Okay.
All right.
Full screen.
Yeah, it works well. You're good to go.
Perfect. Okay, so my name is Liam from RDS, or Review Display Systems. I'm also here with Peter Marchant, who might want to say hello. I'm going to do the presentation today, but we're both available on impromptu later this afternoon. So,
hello everyone. Thanks, Liam.
Cheers, Pete. So, a quick introduction to RDS. I know we want to get to the SenseConnect tablet, as we mentioned a couple of times, so I'm quite excited for that. We're a well-established system integrator, and we work in many industrial sectors. Our facilities and processes are accredited to ISO standards, including 13485, which is medical devices. So hopefully that gives you an impression of kind of level we can work to. We have a sales arm in the USA, but we design and manufacture in Kent. And we also worked directly with IQRF to form IQRF UK. So we work on the Alliance as well. We want to be on the Alliance to be a custom device manufacturer. So I'll explain what devices we want to work with next. So here's a quick overview of the kind of products we traditionally work with, at least. On the left, you've got industrial display components, and then you've got touch screens. In the middle, you can see some embedded computer parts. These might be things we take off the shelf, naturally as a system integrator, but we have got some capacity for electronic design too. And that leads on to the right-hand side. You can see there's some full system designs, and we have mechanical engineering capability in-house, and we can assemble and distribute these products from our facility in Kent. For IoT type products, with all this experience and reach we've got from suppliers, we can make things like low powered end devices you see there, so it's a simple room controller, and then you've got a hub on the right to bring that all together, which would just maybe be the gateway. You might recognize it more as a gateway. So just to speak more about this hub on the right hand side, we wanted to design this from the ground up. So that's the electronics inside, the plastics. We've selected the touchscreen display. This could have been a headless gateway somewhere, and we could have controlled it all from the cloud, but it was important for our customers to have something in the household or in the building that the users could interact with, and it was neat, it was clean, didn't have any modules hanging out. It wasn't something people had to plug into their laptop. And meeting these kind of requirements is something we pride ourselves on, and that's what we'd like to get out of the Alliance relationship. Sometimes these devices aren't so small. So the product on the left is mobile advertising for taxis in London, and on the right it's for the National Rail to set up emergency redirections on the lines. Now it's maybe not what you'd see as IoT, but particularly the advertising on the left, it's got GPS in there. You've got 4G, and it knows where it is in London, and then in the cloud it's linked up with an advertising database and also what's going on with the weather. So it will change the advertising based on what's happening. But it's quite an interesting one to overview because this is huge. It's about 1.5 meters long, and it's a kind of big challenge we can take on. So now onto IQRF. We can really take on any challenge within that whole red box. Now, we're not here to say we can make a better PIR than Danlers or a better LED driver than Lightplan. We like to take on the intricate challenges. We've got lots of experience from many industrial sectors, and that's where I think we're most valuable. So now, what you've all been waiting for, let's take a look at the Sensor Connect tablet that we've developed. So we designed a custom module, an IQRF module, to fit inside this tablet here. This is a proven industrial device from Aon. And Aon are the people that make the up-squared gateways that IA Connects are using and Ology are using. So it's a really solid device. It's rated to mil standard 810G drop. IP65 has got hot swappable batteries. And the reason I want to mention we've taken this product and just added a module to it is because we don't always need to design from the ground up like that home hub that I showed you earlier. We're flexible, and we just want to meet the requirements in the best way possible. The key thing is that the Sensor Connect tablet has multiple wireless and wired connections. So you can see the list of radios on the left, and we'll go into them in more detail on the next slide. But it's also got Ethernet RJ45 and a 9-pin D sub for serial as well. So it's an industrial tablet, so if you need to interface with any proprietary devices, you can. So the whole idea behind using an industrial tablet is that it's something that can be relied on. It's not going to instantly fail when it drops out of a van or gets a bit wet in the rain. It's designed to go to the site, do the job, do the commissioning, and then leave. So a bit more detail about the app. This is a screenshot from the software, and Mikhail from Ology mentioned already that we worked with them to make this. They designed this for us. So they've got lots of experience with IQRF, so we can make modifications where needed if this doesn't seem like it quite fits for you. So what you see here is a floor plan in the background, if you can call it that. It's something I made on PowerPoint. But you can just upload any floor plan. It can be a JPEG file, and you can download that via 4G. And then that can be on the way to site, along with any other job details you might have. Then with Wi-Fi, when you're on site, you can connect directly to the gateway. You can run the auto network, and then on your tablet, you've got a complete list of all of the devices connected to that gateway. And then when that's done, you can use the built-in IQRF module to walk room by room and then scan. And then you can find all of the devices in your vicinity. If you find too many, you can attenuate the signal and hopefully you just find a few less lights. And when you're down to maybe 3 lights in this list, you can tap on the light number and then it will make a flash. And then you know exactly where that light is. You can pick it up, you can drag, drop to exactly where it's located in the room. It doesn't have to just be for lights. This can send any IQRF command. So you see the macro button up here. We can configure that to send any command, so it can make it can send a buzz. It can just send a signal to any actuator really, so that you can locate the devices in the field. So, a couple of final points. We're a well-established embedded computer system integrator. We work to some fairly impressive ISO standards. We're working closely with IQRF and within the Alliance, and we want to be flexible and adapt to new industries and challenges. So, if you have been, thanks for listening. I'll leave my LinkedIn up for a second, and if there's any questions in the chat, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks for that. There are actually no questions.
Okay.
Maybe just one short note, actually, based on our cooperation with Lightline and RDS. What we realized that it would be good to have there like a, let's say, general identification command, which was integrated into the IQRF. So basically, the tablet sends a general indication command, and this indication command could be translated by each device in a different way. So one, for example, the light can switch on, but another, let's say the PIR sensor can just switch on the red LED, and so on and so on. But it's still just one command from the tablet. So this may make it even much more, let's say, easier and flexible in usage. So it was just small remark to the like how the tablet can, let's say, make the devices around you visible that you are talking to them particularly. All right, so RDS, if you have any questions, again, like you can use the chat on both YouTube or here in the Meet. And now we are going to Etiot. So Pete, that would be your time now. Are you there? Pete Beckett. There he comes.
Sorry about that, I realised I was muted.
No worries. Good, you can just make it full screen.
Sure. Great. Well, thank you, Simon, so much for the invitation to do this today.
You're welcome.
It's been really exciting, actually, sort of working with you and the guys over at IQRF to sort of work out how we can work together. I think it's the first time I've presented in my slippers, but I am wearing everything else I would usually be wearing, so no worries there. My name's Pete Beckett. I'm the founder of Etiot. We're a UK-based startup based in Guildford, and we're kind of looking to improve indoor air quality for homes across the country. So in my mind, home ventilation is a little bit broken. So we've heard already today about how HVAC systems have kind of been automated for many years. But actually within a domestic setting, we've kind of been stuck with kind of these sort of things here, where you've kind of got mechanical extractor fans, which come on when you switch the light on. They don't really have that much smart stuff going on. And as you can see, you kind of get mold build up, which is rather nasty. So I guess what we're trying to sort of pitch ourselves as is kind of like looking at how Nest and later Hive and many others have kind of come into the home space as a kind of a new way to control heating. We'd really kind of love to be able to do that for ventilation. Now there are other companies out there, don't get me wrong, who have actually started to put sensors and stuff into their devices, but they're still very much a kind of sort of a very separate kind of device. So one might go in one bathroom, one in another. There's not very much of a joined up kind of ecosystem there. So this is kind of what we've been working on. So this is Ethiop Fan. This is basically our smart fan solution. So what you see there is the whole fan in one. So it's a mechanical extractor fan. And built into that, we've got a whole load of sensors. And we've tried to design something that's kind of not just a piece of tech, but actually something that people, sorry, not just a utility that people put in their bathroom, but actually a really nice piece of tech that people maybe actually kind of like go, I'd actually really quite like to get a new extractor fan, which I don't think is sort of at the top of most people's sort of list of things they want for Christmas. So having a look inside, I'll sort of talk through some of the sensors we've got in there. So the whole idea with this is that rather than just arbitrarily turning the fan on when the light comes on, the idea is that the Ethiop fan's always looking at the environment and monitoring whether it needs to come on or not. So in the morning, you might go out for a shower. So you might have a shower and go out to work. But typically, if you switch the light off, within 5 or 10 minutes, the fan's going to go off, regardless of how damp the room still is. And equally at night, sometimes you switch the light on when you're going to brush your teeth and wake half the house up because the fan just randomly comes on. So we kind of wanted to use sensors to actually decide when the fan comes on. So built into this, we've got obviously temperature and humidity, which are very important to kind of like these kinds of environments. We're also monitoring for other things such as volatile organic compounds, so chemicals which may come from sort of household cleaning products and the like, paint and stuff. We've also built in a light and proximity sensor. That's one part is just because we really want to have a sort of hands-free system to be able to control the fan without an app. And also, it's kind of important for us that we're not just monitoring the kind of breathed environment, but actually looking at that holistically, looking at the environment and how that impacts our mental health and mental well-being. I've also got on there ECO2 sensors, so an equivalent CO2 sensor, which full application we've got, we believe is accurate enough to kind of cause our ventilation to come on when it needs to. We are also, I've got a star there, an asterisk, because we are also developing another version with a true CO2 sensor. But as those of you who know about sensors will know, they are quite expensive. So there's kind of a premium on that product. So then, yeah, then the really exciting part is the connectivity, and that's kind of what we're here to talk about today. So as I say, met with Simon earlier in the year at the Future Build Expo up in London. And at that point, we had been working a lot doing kind of mesh technologies, essentially using Bluetooth low energy. And we've come up against quite a few different issues and stuff. And Simon sort of gave me his pitch and showed me how impressive a range we can get with IQRF, and introduced me to the Alliance. And so we're excited to say that our product, Ethiop Fan, is going to be IQRF interoperable. So that'll be a product that you guys will be able to, as integrators or whatever, be able to use our product alongside your own products and others. So key markets, I sort of touched on this a little bit. We sort of look at this as kind of home and away, so like the kind of home market, which I've sort of previously touched on. But also I think there's a space in hotels and kind of in some other spaces there. At Future Build, actually, we had a whole load of people from the hotel industry saying, actually, whilst there are HVAC systems throughout the main hotels, actually in each individual room they still have separate extractors, and something like this would actually be a really good selling point for the hotel if it meant that their customers were getting better sleep. But that's really more of a kind of expansion point for us. And actually, at the moment, we're really focusing on the home. So we think there's two sides to this. There's obviously homeowners who are really interested in having a healthier home, having less interruptions at night, just improving how effective their ventilation is, maybe saving energy in the process, and giving them more control as well over their environment. I think then beyond that, actually, there's almost a bigger call for landlords and housing associations. So with new legislation that's always coming out, there needs to be compliance from landlords and housing associations to provide a healthy home for their tenants. And with that, what we would like to do is offer them better visibility, remote management, and that means that there's less damage, there's less repairs, and actually one of the main features that we kind of that's come out of a lot of these discussions is they want to know if or when the fan has been deactivated by a tenant. And obviously there's a whole load of privacy kind of questions around all of this, and what should a landlord know, and you know what kind of control should they have. But I think when it comes to the end of a tenancy and there's mold on the ceiling and someone's got to decide who pays for it, if the landlord can say, well, we put the fan in and you didn't use it, then that's one argument. Or if they can put the fan in, and actually the tenant can prove actually we did use it, then it kind of swings the other way. So just trying to kind of really look at that relationship a little bit between landlords and homeowners. So in terms of pricing, availability, so this is sort of our sort of roadmap at the moment, very kind of high level. So as I say, future builders, when we sort of started working on the IQRF stuff, we're hoping to be doing field trials right now. So we've got working prototypes in a few of our homes, and we've kind of done lab tests and stuff. But we really wanted to get it out there, get people using it. Unfortunately, we've kind of had to push that back until later in the summer, just because COVID, typical excuse. But yeah, it's true. It's been a little bit more difficult to go. It's obviously being installed in people's homes and stuff is a little bit tricky. But we still hope to be on track for manufacture in October. We've got our supply chain set up in the UK, and the idea would be that we'll be presenting this early access availability will be sort of end of the year, with general availability in the new year. So just quickly to sort of round up, I guess, sort of talk a little bit about ethics, values, and so ETHIOT, the name is sort of ethical IoT, and I think we as a company recognise that in the IoT industry there can be quite a lot of put it in for 2 years, chuck it away, or like put it in the field and never retrieve it. But actually we really wanted to look at taking a product which is going to be sustainable in its design. So we built it in a modular way, so it can be upgraded, it can be repaired, and we really would encourage that from our customers. Obviously we can't be responsible for what they do, but we can try and give them all the tools they can by allowing them to upgrade things themselves, or allowing them to replace things that may fail in time. We're also looking at responsible supply chain, aware that obviously we want to kind of do right by people who are working in these environments, and so we've actually made a decision at the beginning to actually manufacture in the UK. It gives us a bit more visibility. It also means that we can support our local sort of economy, which I think is all the more important at the moment. And then the final point was around ethical data handling. As I mentioned in the last slide, it's really important that we get that connection between landlords and tenants and who owns that data right. And I'm not saying that we've kind of nailed that yet, but I guess hopefully working with some of you guys who work in those areas, we'll be able to really come up with something robust that we feel comfortable in putting forward with our product. In terms of IQRF community, we'd just love to kind of really throw ourselves into this, and we'd love to share any of our expertise, and would love to be able to kind of learn from you guys as well. We'd welcome any ideas, so we're very kind of excited to kind of develop new products. I think someone in a couple of presentations ago said they're not interested in wasting money on a nice looking box, and I totally get that. If it's about functionality, then that's one thing, but I think because we're trying to look at a little bit more at a consumer space, to us developing nice looking products is kind of it's kind of a big part of that. So maybe if there's kind of a bit of a crossover there, then if you guys would love to kind of talk. Another one, and I think the final thing is just about encouraging one another. I think particularly at the moment where a lot of businesses are kind of going through ups and downs, and we've all kind of got a lot going on. I think just being there and being able to kind of encourage each other in whatever ways we can is a great opportunity. Also, yep, IQRF discount. So I think we're hoping to get these sort of pre-orders up for the Ethiot fan from the beginning of June, so from next Monday, and we'll definitely have IQRF discount. So I'll have to talk with you, Simon, about how we're going to do that. But absolutely, would love to, sort of recognise that kind of commitment from the community. And that's it really. So yeah, thanks for listening, and I look forward to meeting some of you on the app later.
Okay, thanks a lot. A great presentation. I really like it. Like what we can do together is actually to list your product on the IQRF marketplace, IQRF Alliance marketplace, and also if you are ready to sell the samples, or whenever you are ready, like we can put it on our eShop, so anyone can buy it together with the gateway and actually just start using it right away. So it will be exciting time, and we will definitely help with the promotion as well afterwards with the newsletters and so on. Okay, Pete, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Simon.
Matt, you ready? You are still on mute, so please unmute your mic. And we have a Zero Energy Matt Kane here.
Hopefully you can actually hear me now. Oh, everything's frozen. Oh, there we go. Right.
Yeah. Cool.
But so here we go. Right. If you let me know when you can see that slide.
It's coming.
Is that up?
Very nice. Yeah, it's there. You're good to go.
Thanks, Simon. So yeah, thank you for inviting me to present today. A lot of very interesting presentations this morning. So I'm coming at this from a slightly different angle. I'm representing, in fact, Zero Group today, and we're effectively a company that is sort of charging through the pathway to zero carbon. Right. So we're a group of companies, primarily 4 companies, which is Zero Projects, Zero Homes, and then the 2 that really factor into today's chat are Zero Life and Zero Energy. So I'll take you through the overall company concept briefly, and then I'll sort of hit why I'm here and what I'd like to get out of the IQRF. So Zero Projects, right? Zero Projects effectively is a company that works to support the building trade. Right? We do project management of renewable energy source installations within new builds. We also project manage anything around sort of around zero carbon, or the pathway to zero carbon within the building industry. So we work with a lot of different partners on new build sites, big main contractors like Lovells, Morganstone, and so forth, all primarily in the Wales area at the moment. But we're also looking at refurbs, right? So the pathway to zero carbon is very prominent within the building industry. Right? We've got 25 million homes out across the UK at the moment, and we're obviously building a fraction of that every year. So if we want to really drive zero carbon as the way forwards, we have to get into refurbs and retrofits. So we also work with a lot of housing associations on assessing, so surveying the homes they have and looking at the best options to get their energy usage down to as low a carbon consumption as possible. When we come onto this, right, refurbs are going to factor into my zero energy requirements from IQRF. So think new build homes, got a blank canvas for putting renewable technology in place. You know, you're designing everything from scratch. Refurbs, we have people living in houses. You all know I've heard a lot about smart technology being installed today. Installing large appliances along with peripherals and smart tech can be very intrusive if we're not careful. So bear that in mind as I come onto our requirements shortly. So Zero Projects manages projects for the building industry. Zero Life is a real key piece for today, right? So Zero Life, we actually offer an energy service to customers. So if we've been involved in helping project manage the build, so the renewable aspect of the build, or if we've performed retrofitting of energy or renewable energy appliances into homes, we offer a Zero Life application, right, an app which effectively allows us to give the user control of those devices. Subtly different from the likes of Hive and Nest and all of the other sort of myriad of different apps out there controlling heating, hot water, electricity devices. We're effectively providing an energy optimization service, right? So as well as installing renewable devices into homes, such as solar, batteries, heat pumps, smart water tanks, etc., we use an energy optimization service to shift some of that renewable energy consumption to a high carbon period. Very simple example, if you're generating a lot of solar power at lunchtime, everybody's at work, so that solar that's being generated per home is effectively being pumped straight back into the grid. With a battery and solar PV, you can store that in the battery and then shift the usage of that energy until a real sort of high carbon period, say between 5 and 7 p.m. for example. But so Zero Life is all about managing the overall energy aspect and environmental aspect of a home. So hot water, heating, electricity consumption, whether that's regulated or unregulated. And with that comes the need for a lot of sensors, a lot of peripheral control devices, very reliable networking, because we're effectively dealing with comfort as a service within the homes. The other aspect, so tagging on to Zero Life, is zero energy. If we have lots of homes, so we've got a couple of thousand homes in our pipeline at the moment, when you take over energy management for a lot of homes, you've got the opportunity to aggregate that power, right? And you get a real benefit when you start to look at geographical areas or clustering of homes. With that, we can start to aggregate the solar yield across various batteries, so you can make sure that if you've got a house with higher yield, we're balancing that storage out. And very importantly, to help the grid, we can move towards demand side response. Right? So at that point, you have the ability to help the grid balance its services. If it's underpowered in certain areas and we have a lot of watts of power stored in batteries, we can release that into the grid at the appropriate points in correlation with the DNOs, like Western Power, for example. We do a lot of research and development, right? We're in an industry at the moment which is energy management, energy optimization, and zero carbon. And therefore, we've got a lot of interested bodies, such as the Department of Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy. They're funding some of our work in our first pilot sites, which is installing the renewable energy and making sure that we can prepare those homes for the demand side response I just talked about. We also have funding from the Welsh Government to develop a tool called Hedgehog, which is aptly named, but this is all about property assessment before build, right? So how effective, how carbon neutral is a house going to be with traditional services compared to implementing fully managed energy management services and renewable energy devices. And very importantly as well, at the moment, the housing market's going through a bit of a revolution with respect to mortgages. So financial services industries are starting to see zero carbon energy managed homes as more appealing to lend for compared to traditional build homes that are very high cost to run. So we're working with again with Bays to develop a project called a product called Valuer, which is effectively going to help a lot of these financial service industries factor in energy efficiency of homes into their mortgage offerings. Right. Lastly, I want to get onto the piece about peripherals shortly, but lastly, Zero Homes. Right. It's no good us sort of touting to the building trade how energy efficient homes need to be, showing the pathway to net zero. It's more expensive, right? Putting in renewable energy devices into a home is more costly than a traditional gas boiler, for example. So the only way we can stand in front of these builders and effectively hold our head high is to become a builder. So we also have a development arm of Zero, and we're currently building 35 truly zero carbon homes in a community in Wales called Park Hadau. And these are truly zero carbon, all thoroughly energy managed. We're sort of showing that the current standards in the building trade need to be improved considerably to get us to net zero by 2050. So that's effectively us making sure that we've got we're putting our money where our mouth is. Right, I've skipped through these. We've got a couple of projects on the go. I've sort of already mentioned Park Hadau on the left is our own build. Park Iron is a 225 home estate that all have zero energy service appliances going in. It's in build stage at the moment. Penderry is a 640 odd home retrofit project that we've got with Pobble, the Welsh Housing Association. That's to put in heating controls, solar and battery, and to control all of those devices across a fairly large geographical area. and we're actually already working with one of the IQRF members, RDS, on potential solutions for that sort of implementation. So, to summarise, right, we've got various arms to zero, but it's all about zero carbon, and that means renewable energy sources. And as I've heard in this presentation before, with so on the previous from Ethiot, for example, environmental conditions are extremely important nowadays. So, what CO2 do we have in the homes? What humidity do we have in the homes? What is the impact of putting more renewables in, putting more sort of vapor barriers in place in the build to help with energy efficiency and heat retention? So with that, we have a lot of peripherals going in, sensors going into these homes. We have, alongside things like the heat pumps, electric battery storage, smart thermal storage, roof set PV arrays, EV charge points. That's integrated into our app, and again, it's going to become very prominent with respect to energy. Underfloor heating, and then metering and control. All of these individual elements are efficient and considerably better than sort of today's tech or yesterday's tech. But the key overarching need is to manage this as an ecosystem, a word that's come up several times in presentations today. Now, when we're looking at overall energy management, we've got battery power, we've got thermal stores in water. We've got to have the ability to shift this energy from one to the other at a fairly granular level of control to make sure that we're optimizing, right? We're reducing that carbon requirement. Oh, sorry, carbon creation. We're technology agnostic, right? So the reason I'm here is we really need to start getting a better set of continual improvement steps around our devices, our sensors, our control points. So we have a lot of relay switches for heaters, actuators for underfloor heating. As I say, we've got various sensors that we're pulling data from. Today, these all get connected via various protocols. We've got Modbus, we've got MBus, a lot of RS485 wiring, got smart Cat7 wiring going in. We have our own dedicated LAN. So in Park Iron, for example, 225 homes, we built our own GPON network to give reliable services. So the need for us, right, the key import or priorities are reliable connectivity, and with that we typically choose wired. I love the idea of RF technology for retrofits, but preferably with wired power, right? So we reduce maintenance visits, and all of our connectivity has to be extremely secure. So whilst we have solutions today for the controlling hubs, for the networking, for the end device communication, for the appliance control, we've got to keep improving that. We've got to get the form factor smaller, and importantly, back to my previous point about there being 25 million existing homes in the UK, if we can't rock up to a home, install the equipment that's needed to monitor the environment and control the environment fairly seamlessly, we're not going to scale, right? So we have, like I say, we have solutions, but we've got to keep improving and improving these solutions. Quite interested in some of the conversations and presentations we've had today around sensor development, and really that's what I'm here for, right? To give you a brief overview of what we're trying to achieve, and to say that what I really want from the IQRF is partners that can help develop sensors, can help develop thermostats, metering, the control aspects of sensors, metering and thermostats, and also to look at potentially producing devices that may match Ciro's specific needs. So back to my previous point, in an ideal world, if you could take a light switch off the wall, plug a new switch in that's got an RF sensor and it's powered, to me that's utopia. Right? There's obviously challenges with certain wiring setups, but it's that sort of conversation I want to start having with manufacturers and with solution providers. How do we maintain continually improving control and data exports in a seamless way? Right, if you want to look at any more information about Ciro and the varying arms, the website's on the last slide there, www.ciro.group, which includes all of our contact information from myself all the way up to the MD. Right, that's it from me. Thank you very much, Simon.
Yeah, thank you very much, Matt. That was really impressive, and I can see a lot of potential links among the members, and definitely feel free to contact me to get the contacts of the others. Unfortunately, like what we can't do right now is to like stop the sessions and meet together and have a chat. and have a beer together. So actually, I'm ready for this situation right now. So it's a Czech beer, so I will drink it later on in the evening. But I really will miss that opportunity to have a chat and fun with you later on today. So thanks a lot to all the speakers for their presentations. I think it was really great to do this, let's say, update, like where we are. Please feel to contact me if you want to get a contact of someone. Definitely we will stay in touch. We will organize another meetup in the Czech Republic in September or October. The situation from the COVID perspective is much better there than here in the UK. And then we have a schedule for another UK meetup at the end of November. I think it's 27th. Again, we will let you know. So hopefully in that time we will be able to meet in person and actually not just see the presentation, but see real demonstrations and touch the real products that we just discussed today. So thanks a lot for your time, and all the presentations or the presentations that I would be able to collect will be available on IQRF Alliance website. This meetup was also streamed online on YouTube, so the record will be there as well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to working with you guys over the next months and years, and meet you in person whenever it's possible. So thanks a lot. Have a great day. Enjoy your summer, and talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Simon.
Thank you.